All right, so we are live on YouTube. Hello, somebody. And we're live on Instagram. We're also live on Facebook. Let me see what's happening here on Instagram. Create a room by inviting others to broadcast with you. No. All right. Manage your live and see who's watching. Okay. All right. So many new things happening on Instagram. View questions from your audience and share them to the screen. All right, cool. Face filters, I don't want that. All right, okay. All right, so a lot of new things happening on IG. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Welcome to another live Women Healing Together. So very happy to have you. If this is your first time, my name is Popsann Francis. I'm the founder of Women Healing Together and the CEO of DP Wellness. And this is the channel. If you're on YouTube, all right, this is the page. If you're on IG, where we deal with all things women. So of course, I'm using two devices. So YouTube, I'm looking at you, hey, and Insta, hey. So we're just going to give person some time to come on. No, I know last week we missed a video, and that is why, even though the live is like, hi, Marcia, good night, good evening, good day. So last week, I was just so exhausted and I wanted to show up and to give you my best. So I did not post a video last week, Sunday. So I really apologize about that. And then today, my husband and I were traveling and one whole heap of something. So I didn't get to post at 6 Eastern time. If you're on the east coast of North America, 5 for Jamaican time, and those in the Caribbean. So yeah. So that's why I'm coming on like 9 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock your time, but I could not allow today to pass without coming on and just sharing with the family and talking about the things. And yes, Marcia, nice to see you, my dear. Nice to see you. Welcome to the live. So hi, Stushi. Hey, girl. I see you on IG. I don't know what's wrong with this ring light, but it just keeps, okay, I think it's good now. All right, I think that's better for IG. All right, perfect. So the last time we had a live, we spoke about burnout and we spoke about just how can we tell if we are at the verge of being burned out. And I'm just going to ask you to do me a favor, to do our family, WHT family, a favor. Just go ahead, if it's your first time, and hit that subscription button, like, yeah, subscribe, and hit the all notification bell. And for everybody who is watching, whether you're new to the channel or not, please go ahead and share this link with someone. Something stood out to me the last time we had the live. I think it was Raquel or Kelly Shea said that, or was it Tushy who said that Sunday evening anxiety is a serious thing. Is a serious thing. And I never thought about it like that, but yes, it is. So we want to talk about today. Our topic is tips to avoid burnout. So we spoke about how do we know or how can we tell when burnout is coming our way. But today we're going to be talking about tips to avoid it. Prevention, my mommy always tells me that prevention is better than cure. It is easier to prevent burnout than to deal with the body after it crashes, or to deal with the mind after we start suffering from depression and mental health issues. So we're going to be talking about that this evening. As I said before, in other lives, I'm not a mental health professional, but what I do share is my personal experience and the experience of those women whom I have coached. Also, please feel free to share. This ring light is driving me crazy. The phone, it just keeps sliding down after a while. I don't know why, but I'll work with it. Yeah. So feel free as well to just share your thoughts and opinion. Let's get right into it. I don't intend on keeping you long this evening. We're talking about tips to avoid burnout. Tips to avoid burnout. Before I show you the tips though, Ooh, where did that come from? That was the Arise Wives of Wisdom intro, but that's not what I want. I want to show you this. So if it's your first time here at Women Healing Together, I help women to achieve the 4 E's. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing that. If you're on Instagram, the 4 tips are: embrace self-worth and inner peace, enjoy happy and healthy relationships, equip yourself with knowledge to make better choices as women, and number 4, empower other women and girls. Every time you share the link of the YouTube video, you are helping to empower other women and girls. So today we're talking about healthy relationships, your intra-relationship, and also to equip yourself with better choices. So we're looking at that. Let me see the comment. Marcia says, so true. It's a struggle on Sunday, looking forward to Monday. Yes, it is. Because as I said on the last live, Marcia, I don't know if you caught it, I have started to feel that. I've started to feel that, and I now have to be very intentional about avoiding burnout. So let's go right into it. And again, please feel free to share your ideas about how you avoid burnout. Now, the first tip I have here in my notes is that tip number 1 is to listen to your body. That's tip number 1. And we spoke about that at length in our last live 2 weeks ago. So if you have not listened to that live, I want you to go back and I want you to watch it, because it was powerful as the ladies share. Listen to your body. We spoke about the tension in the body. We spoke about the breathing, having that irregular breathing. We spoke about the headache. We spoke about all sorts of ache and body and pins and needles in the body, that exhaustion, that lethargy. So we want to pay attention to those things so that we can avoid burnout. All right. Just as don't wait until the sirens begin to blare when it's really, really difficult. We want to look at the itsy bitsy signs and signals. Okay. Tip number 2. Very, very, very important tip. Did I say very? I said very. I'm going to say it again. Tip number 2, real tips to avoid burnout. Number 2 is, listen for this one. Set boundaries. We're talking about prevention being better than cure. Tip number 2 to avoid burnout is to set boundaries. Learning to say no and knowing when to say yes. Are you with me? Do you have challenges setting boundaries? Do you have a challenge telling people no? Do you feel guilty when you have to tell somebody no? Do you feel guilty when you can't show up for someone? Let me know in the live chat, or if you're watching the broadcast, the rebroadcast, well, not the rebroadcast, but the recording, I want you to put it in the comments section. Do you feel guilty? I see the hearts on Instagram. I do see the hearts on Instagram. Set boundaries. All right. And sometimes we feel guilty for setting boundaries because the people around us do not respect our boundaries. So even if you're not feeling guilty, they cause you to feel guilty. Like, can't you do this little thing for me? It's not going to take a long time. It's not going to take an hour. It's going to take 5 minutes. But you know that 5 minutes is going to throw you out of your equilibrium. It's going to cause you to be burned out, even that 1 minute. But persons put the guilt trip. I say, if persons around you are not respecting your boundaries, then it is quite possible that you need to check the stability and the foundation of that relationship. Because a friend, an employer, whomever it is, should be able to respect your decision, especially if you're someone who sticks to your word. You're someone who is productive. You're someone who is hardworking and efficient. The mere fact that you're saying no means that there is a reason. And if they're going to guilt trip you into doing something, eroding your boundary, then you need to check that relationship. You definitely need to check that out. So we definitely want to set boundaries. We're talking about avoiding burnout. Prevention is better than cure. Tip number 3 that I want to share with you this evening is give yourself grace, aka otherwise known as self-compassion. And I spoke about this in one of my previous videos, where so many of us as women, we are so tender and caring and kind to others. When we talk about giving grace, we'll give it to others. When we talk about being compassionate, we'll give compassion to others, but we do not give ourselves compassion. We don't know the term self-compassion. And that's because people may say, you know what, you're moping, you're whining. Why are you talking about what you're going through? You have everything going for you. Why are you being such a party pooper? But we have to learn to be graceful to ourselves. And being graceful to ourselves and having self-compassion means that you can't do everything. And it is okay to forgive yourself if you miss an appointment, if you miss a deadline, if you miss an initiative. It's okay. The world is not going to end. And we spoke about that in our last live. When we are not there, the world will still go on. And even last week, I really wanted to post the video, and I'm like, I feel so exhausted. I felt so exhausted, and I practiced self-compassion. I'm like, I know that if I push myself to do this video, it's not going to be of a high quality that the women of WHT, Women Healing Together, are deserving of. I know that I'm not going to show up as my best, and I know I'm going to crash my body. So I gave myself the compassion that I needed, saying to myself, it is okay if you can't do it all. It's okay, all right? And this is something that we have to work on, because I know that it does not come easily for us as women, all right? So Marcia is in the chat, and Marcia says, I do feel guilty. Let me just put that up. I do feel guilty saying no, but I do say no at times and then go outside and take a breath. That is correct. Look here, I love that. That seems like it's a joke because I see you smiling with the blush face, Marcia. But I love that strategy. You know why I love that strategy? Because sometimes we say no, but then if we are in the environment or in the presence of the person who is requesting us to do something, we may end up changing our minds. You know, that happens to us. So we said, no, I'm not available. But if we're in the presence, we're like, let me check my calendar, or let me think about it. Maybe I can. But Marcia is like, after I say no, and yes, I feel guilty, I step away from the situation. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm going to take that away. I'm definitely going to steal that, all right? So give me permission to steal it. I'm no longer stealing it. I'm borrowing it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I see your emoji smiley face in the chat. Thank you for sharing that. So give yourself compassion. It is okay. All right, it is okay. We're not going to have it all together. You're going to miss a deadline at work at one point or the other. It won't fall apart. Okay. Tip number 4. This one has become very, very important to me. And it's against the backdrop of me being a procrastinator in the past. It's also in the context of me just not liking routine and being very spontaneous. Hi, Onicia, my darling. Being very, Onicia, welcome, darling. Instagram. We're talking about tips to avoid burnout. Tips to avoid burnout. That's what we're talking about. And whether you're a student or you're working, or even if you're not working, burnout can still happen to you. Again, if you haven't checked the live that we did 2 weeks ago, you need to go and check that out. So the fourth tip is schedule, plan. That's what I have there. No, schedule time for yourself. I'll soon get to the plan. Schedule time for yourself. We schedule time to cook. We schedule time to do the laundry. We schedule time to take care of the husband if you're married. You schedule time to go with your boyfriend if you're dating or courting. You schedule time to take care of the children, to help them with the homework. We schedule time as women to do everything else apart from scheduling time for ourselves. And that is because we do not make ourselves a priority. We don't. We don't. No wonder that as women, we are experiencing so much burnout in comparison to our counterpart, the opposite sex. We experience so much burnout because we do not prioritize self. We schedule everything else. Oh, what am I going to cook for dinner on Friday? Today is Sunday, right? What am I going to do at church? And we schedule everything else apart from me time. Go right ahead and borrow it. Says, thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So schedule time for yourself. And I want to know in the chat whether you're on IG, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, or if you're watching the recordings afterward. Be honest with me. Do you schedule time for self? Yes or no? Like, do you? Let me sip some tea and wait on you. Like, do you schedule time for yourself? I'm drinking peppermint, ginger, and lemon. Unsweetened. It tastes so good. Just relaxing. Do you schedule time for yourself? You're like, you know what? Sunday at 6 o'clock is Marcia's time. Monday at 8 o'clock is Tushy_876 time. Wednesday at 5 o'clock, it's Onisia_D's time. Do you schedule time for self? Tushy_876 on Instagram says, yes, she does sometimes. Marcia, on the other hand, says no. So we have to work on that, Marcia. We'll have to work on that. Yes, we have to. We have to schedule time for ourselves. And we have to make the appointment. And scheduling time for yourself, it is not based on what Tom, Dick, or Harry wants you to do. It is based on what you enjoy doing, whatever it is. Whatever it is. There are times like when I'm finished with work, if I'm very, very exhausted, my scheduling of time for self is just sleeping. Like literally, I move from my office, which is the next room. I go into the bedroom and I sleep for about an hour. And that's what I need. Okay. Other times, scheduling time for myself may mean watching a little Netflix, going on YouTube, whatever it is. It may mean meditating, spending time with God, reading my devotional, but we have to schedule time for ourselves. Marcia says, no, I don't, but I will start now. Yes. And it doesn't have to be eternity. It doesn't have to be an eternal time. It may mean 5 minutes. It may mean 10 minutes. It may mean spending a longer time in the bathroom as you bathe, to do a little body scrub or to scrub your face, because as long as you don't scrub your face, to exfoliate, whatever it means. But we have to schedule time for ourselves and stick with that appointment. If you're just joining us, we're talking about tips to avoid burnout, and I'm sharing 8 tips with the WHT family, with the lovelies, with the ladies. All right. Tip number 5, and this is the one I was talking about when I spoke about my history of procrastinating, and I spoke about my history of lauding myself because I'm thinking, oh, spontaneity, I'm so spontaneous, I'm not a routine girl, I just go with the flow, I don't like routine. But then I realized that routine is important. It doesn't mean that you're going to be inflexible. Hi, mom. Mommy's here. Hi, mommy. Love you, mommy. All right. We're talking about how to avoid burnout. And mommy, you need to listen because you work 24/7. You wash 6 days a week. Only Sabbath you don't wash. You are always working on yourself. So I want you to listen to your daughter tonight in Jesus' name. All right. Yes. Okay. So plan and create a system that works for you. We're talking about the importance of creating a routine. Mommy's like, love you too. I love you too, mommy. Plan and create a system. Yes, a system. It helps you to keep your sanity. For those persons who are spontaneous and you're like, oh yeah, I don't need a routine. If that works for you, that works for you. But I can tell you that so many of us feel burnout because we remember sometimes things that last minute that we're supposed to do that we didn't plan for. Yeah. Or let me see. Hi, Kelly Shay. Welcome, my darling. Kelly, just to give you a little background, we are talking about tips to avoid burnout. So the last time we had the live, we were talking about how do we know, what are the signals that our bodies send us when we are about to hit that burnout. But now we're talking about prevention, avoiding the burnout. All right. So please go ahead, as I said before, and share the link with someone. Hello, Queen Kelly. I see you. I see you. All right. So tip number 5 is create a system. What time do you get up in the mornings? What's the first thing that you do when you get up? Hi, Sean _A _Dennis. What's up, girl? We're talking about tips to avoid burnout. We are at number 5. So I'm going to recap just for you because I love you so. Sean _A _Dennis. Tip number 1, listen to your body. Tip number 2, set boundaries. Tip number 3, give yourself grace. Practice self-compassion on the days when you feel like you don't have it all together, when you're not meeting your expectations and the expectations of those around you. Tip number 4 is to schedule time for yourself. And for those of you who have not watched the video, when I share tips, free things that you can do to practice self-care, go ahead and watch that. I'm going to link it on YouTube. And we're at tip number 5. Plan and create a system. I am not a morning person. I can tell you that off the bat. I'm not a morning person. My most productive time is in the evening towards the night. I know that for sure. But I have been deliberate because I've told myself for years that I'm not a morning person. I get up late. And I'm in a helter-skelter trying to get ready for work. Like back in the days when I had to travel to work, helter-skelter, trying to get ready for work, always rushing. And then I have all this negative hormone populating my body, which can cause disease, which can cause depression, which can cause anxiety. All right. What I have found is that when I create a system where I get up early and spend time with God first, have a nutritious breakfast whenever I'm having breakfast, and I create a system, I avoid burnout. Whenever I come off track with that system, that's when I see burnout affecting me the most because I'm out of my equilibrium. When your body develops a routine where it's expecting this first and this second and this third, your body is prepared to help you to handle the stresses of life. But if your body doesn't know what signal is coming today and it doesn't know what you're going to do right now, then it's more difficult. And then adrenaline starts pumping and we go into fight or flight or fight. You get what I'm saying? So a system is so very important. So one of the things that I found that I started to do, especially as my husband went back into pastoral ministry and I've taken on responsibilities at church. I'm the one who sets up the StreamYard. I do the thumbnails. I create the YouTube lives every week. I get the program, and I do the programming for StreamYard, ensure the banners are up, everything is set, the flyers are ready for promotion, and I do all of that. But I create a system by saying to my husband and to those who are to send the information to me that I do church work on Tuesday evenings. That's it. That's my system. I do church work on Tuesday evenings because the other evenings are designated for something else. I know that Tuesday afternoons, I'm doing recordings for our family YouTube channel, The Francises. So if you haven't checked that out, you need to go and check that out on YouTube, The Francises, and follow us on Instagram at _Francises. So Tuesday evening, that's when we record for The Francises. You get what I'm saying? I'm creating a system. On Thursdays, that's when I record for Women Healing Together. System. I don't do overtime at work anymore because that's not a part of my system, because I need to have family work balance. So 5 o'clock come, I'm done. I'm done. Unless it's something like really extra that I have to do, which I ain't doing that no more. You get what I'm saying? So can we, and I'm not saying that you have to plan your day to the T, and if it's not planned to the exact hit and jottle, then you're not going to make it, but at least have a general system, and I promise you that that is going to help to avoid burnout. It's not a helter-skelter running from here to there trying to figure out what we're going to do, know what we're going to do later. All right, so that's tip number 5. Tip number 6, we're almost there, so I'm not going to keep you long this evening because I don't want to burn you out. Can you imagine? I'm here talking about burnout and I'm on the live for like 2-3 hours. You're like, Popsann, you're not finished talk. Like, what's up? What's up? You need to finish, okay? So tip number 6 is to prioritize. And I want to make it even more specific. I want to say prioritize health over money. When you think about burnout, why is it that a lot of women are suffering from that? Some of us are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, side hustle, and side hustles are very, very important. But I want us to prioritize our health over the money. If getting the money is going to lead you into depression and cause your body to be a wreck, it's not worth it. Whether it's money, whatever it is, prioritize your health over dash, whatever dash is. Because if there is no you, then there is no dash, whatever the dash represents. Your health is very important. If you're not showing up for you, you cannot show up for anybody else. If you are not taking care of Shan _A Dennis, then you can't take care of your family. If you're not taking care of your health, then you can't do that assignment if you're studying. If you're not taking care of your health, then you can't show up for the employer. You can't show up for your husband. You can't show up for your children. All right? Burnout leads to sickness. Hello, somebody. We spoke about it on our last live. There are so many women who go to the doctor. Mommy, so true. So many women go to the doctor and they're doing test after test, and the doctors cannot give them a diagnosis. They cannot tell them what is wrong. And I've seen that over and over and over. I know of a person who became so ill, going to the doctor, doing test after test, blood test, heart test, neurological test, test after test after test. And when that person took leave, an extended leave from work, in fact, the person didn't even take the leave. They were forced to take the leave because they were not functioning. And it was after the person took the leave, like months of leave, that they started getting healing. All the person needed was some rest, because burnout is serious. You see what mommy said? Mommy says it happened to me. I know it happened to you. It happened to me too. It happened to me too. And I have actually set a resolution, okay, where I was having, speaking appointments, especially my husband and I, for the Francises. A lot of persons are calling on us to do a couples presentation. And we did a presentation on Tuesday evening. I accepted a presentation on Wednesday morning for Wake Up Ministry, where I preached. And I have one more presentation the end of April, and that's it for a good while. I am resting my body. I'm resting my body, because when I'm tired, I get really cranky.
and really irritable. All right, irritable. Marcia says, yes, having a system also allows for any surprise that may arise. That is it. When we don't have a system, we don't have the bandwidth. And creating a system does not mean you're going to pack every single second of your day. It doesn't mean that. When I started, here's a little highlight here. When I started my master's in 2016 or 2014, one of the two. When I started my master's, it's 2014, don't remember, but yeah, about that time. And I was surprised that the first thing that the assignment we got was to plan a schedule, and it was so difficult for me because at that time I was not a routine person. And they said that on the timetable for the entire week, we're supposed to put in free slots. And for those free slots, we can decide any. So if somebody says, "Oh, Popsann, can you speak?" Yes, I'm available for one of those free slots. You know what I mean? If I need extra time to recuperate after a tiring day, I can say, okay, this free slot is my me time because I need additional me time. All right? Marcia, we're on the same page. You just said it. Me time 100%. I've learned to value my me time. And back in the day, I used my me time to just sleep. But I've learned to restructure, right, and refocus my me time to do other things that are productive, but at the same time, I am relaxing. So we don't want our self-care and our me time to be wasteful time. It's not wasteful time. And I'm not saying that rest is not important, but some of us will sleep too much. Some of us will sleep too much. We sleep out our productivity. I think that story for other days. I need to do another live on that. Some of us will sleep too much. How can we do something that will benefit our health or benefit our productivity without us being straining, or without us straining ourselves? Like serious thing. Plan a system and put health above dash, whatever dash is. Number 7, I've spoken about this time after time after time after time, and I will continue to hit this point whenever I can. Number 7, take a break. Learn to pause. Learn to step away. And this is not talking about me time. Me time, we know that we're not compromising on me time. When I talk about taking a break, I mean in the midst of the hustle and the bustle. I mean in the midst of an argument. I mean in the midst of a stressful work day. I mean, in the midst of trying to meet a deadline, can we just pause and do some deep breathing? Can we just pause, like Marcia said, just step away, go outside, get some cool breeze, hit you across the face, caress you across the face for like 5 minutes? Can we practice that? Can we practice just getting up from our desks and just stretching our legs, regrouping and coming again? That's what I mean in this context, learning to pause. Pausing may mean drinking some water so your kidney is not starving or flushing. That's what I mean. Pause may mean instead of grabbing fast food because you're in a rush, why not do a healthy salad and give your body time to actually be what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? To be nourished. That's the word, right? Giving our times to be nourished, learning to pause. Learning to pause may mean taking time out to read a devotional in the midst of the work when you feel overwhelmed. Like one of the things that I do, I'm coming to the 2 comments that I'm seeing in the chat. One of the things that I do to take a pause when I'm at work is to go to YouTube, and I have a worship playlist. And while I'm working, I'm listening to these songs. And they just help me to pause for a moment from the hustle and bustle. Listen, I do not want to hear that any member of the WHT family, any woman who is a part of the WHT family, emailing or learning by the grapevine that you are experiencing burnout, I don't want it to happen to any of us. Even if it happened before, we don't want it to happen again. All right. Marcia says, sleep when needed. Do a 30-minute nature walk. For those of us who are up here in the north, Marcia, sometimes I'm honestly going to be honest with you. We don't want to go outside because it's too cold. It's too cold. We don't want to go outside. But, we have to force ourselves. Or if we're not going outside because it's snowing, take a little walk somewhere. Find somewhere and just stretch our legs. All right. Mommy says, I'm learning to take a break from the sickness. And this is it. Why is it that we have to get sick? We have to suffer depression. We have to do anxiety before we suffer from anxiety before we're like, we have to learn. It's good that we are learning, but this is why the topic for today is, let me put it up back on screen. Tips to do what? Avoid. Prevention is better than cure. Mommy, you always tell me that growing up. Prevention is better than cure. Avoid. That's what we're looking at. All right. Hi, Corinne. Welcome, my darling. Corinne says small steps lead to big results. Absolutely. And that's why we're sharing 8 tips tonight, 8 tips this evening that any woman can do. Any woman can follow at least 2 of these tips to ensure that she avoids burnout. All right. Marcia said, yes, Sister Smith, we have to learn one way or another. And Marcia also said, dead with laugh, I will send you some. You're going to send me some sunshine, right? Send it to me, man. Please send it to me. Like, seriously, send it to me. All right. So we're almost there. Learn to pause. And tip number 8. Are you ready for tip number 8? As we talk about tips to avoid burnout. Tip number 8. And I think I need to do an entire video on tip number 8. If you're ready for tip number 8, put ready in the chat. Like, put ready in the live chat. Come. Put ready in the live chat. Facebook peeps, Instagram peeps, YouTube peeps, put ready in the chat. Marcia said, love that, Corinne. And I'm going to put up Corinne's comment. She says, small steps lead to big results. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Small steps lead to big results. We may not think that stepping away from our desk or stepping away from the kitchen or stepping away from whatever for 5 minutes is critical. But that 5 minutes can be the difference between having a heart attack and not having a heart attack. It can mean the difference between having a stroke and not having a stroke. It may mean the difference between just totally just breaking and just falling apart and not falling apart. Small steps lead to big results. All right. So I see that you're ready. I see the ready. I see the ready, mommy. I see the ready, Marcia. I see the ready, Corinne. All right. I see the ready. Here is tip number 8. There is no such thing as balance. When I got this concept a few years ago, it radically eroded so many false ideologies that I had. It radically eradicated, annihilated so many misconceptions that I have. And I'm going to repeat it. There is no such thing as balance. I hear women all over the world talking about, I need to balance work and family. I need to balance my spirituality and my work. I need to there's no such thing as balance. Why do I say that? Before you're like, Popsann, you're talking foolishness. Listen, I ain't talking no foolishness. Let me tell you, you can never give more than one thing or person 100% of you. Let me sip some tea. Woo! What did I just say? It is impossible. I posit, I postulate, I put forward. You cannot give more than one thing or one person 100% of you. Impossible. The Bible puts it this way: you cannot serve God and mammon. It's impossible. You can't love two people at the same time. No matter how much we say it, it's impossible. I'm going to be like real raw Jamaican. If you try to balance your family and your work, one of them going to get born. That's how it is. If you try to balance your work and your Christianity, one of them going to get born. You cannot balance. Listen, mommy says, wow. Marcia said, talk to me, sister. There is no such thing as balance. Mommy says, true, because you're one person. You cannot give 200% of you. Your cap is 100% of you. That is one of the significant misconceptions that is causing us to be burnout as women, because we're trying to be 200% of ourselves. Marcia, I see you laughing when I say you're going to give one bond. It's the truth. Corinne says, and here I am trying to balance. We can't. What we need to do is to prioritize. And prioritizing is not static. Woo! Listen, some gems are here. You see why we need to be a part of WHT, Women Healing Together? Because we share together and we learn so many things together. Instead of trying to balance, learn to prioritize. And another misconception is that prioritizing is static. It is not static. It is not stationary. It moves, it evolves, it grows, it shifts. For those of you who are mothers on this call, listen, when your child or children is or are sick, what is at the forefront of your priority? Your children. Because the children are sick. They need extra loving and care and attention. At that time, they are the priority. You have to give them 100%, or you may give them 90% and give other things 10%. When the children are healthy, it may mean that they are okay. But no, I am sick, so I have to give myself the priority right now. It doesn't mean that I'm neglecting my children. Priority is not static. It shifts, it evolves, it changes. Even Mattia Dashway, hold on, let me sip some tea. Mommy is here. Mommy said, but the balance thing does not work. It gets hard and you can't finish anything. Nothing can get done. Yes. We have a long list, to-do list as women. A long to-do list. And at the end of the day, we are frustrated because we can't get all the things on the list done. That's because there are some things on the list. I'm going to share something else that radically changed my life. Radically changed my life. Salome, welcome, sweetie. There are some things that are important. Our children, always important. Always. But their needs may not be urgent. Work, important, but not always urgent. So what we do is that we take things that are important and make them urgent. What we need to ask ourselves is, what I am focusing on now, is it both urgent and important? If it does not meet those two criteria, then they don't need to be balanced right now. They don't need to be prioritized, I should say, right now. Hello, somebody? Salome says, Miss, I am burnt out from life, work, family, and school. My question to you, my dearest Salome, are you trying to give life, work, family, and school Are you trying to give each of those categories 100%? You cannot, my darling. You can't. If you have a major research paper, maybe the major research paper has to be given 90% or 80% of your priority. And then your family is going to understand it's not that they're not important. It's just that the needs are not urgent right now, and you need to focus on this research paper to get it out of the way. And we have to communicate these things with our families and our friends. If I don't talk to you as a friend or as a family, often it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that you're not important. It just means that right now I have other things that are really urgent and both important. Hello, somebody? Marcy says, you cannot give what you don't have. And that's why we said earlier, point number 6, prioritize and put your health above whatever the dash is, the money, the car, whatever it is. All right, Samantha. Hi, Sam. Samantha says, God helps us mothers, especially single mothers. That's so, so true. Because I grew up with a single mother. And that's a very good point, Samantha. Thank you for pointing that out. That's a very good, excellent point. Very good point. There were times growing up, and my mom is on the call right now. There were times growing up when I didn't see my mom. We lived in the same house, but she would leave like 4 o'clock in the morning before we got up to head on the bus to head into Kingston, and she would come in late at night, right? It doesn't mean that we were not important. It means that at that time she was trying to set a foundation. Kelly Shea on Instagram said, that's right. Come on now. She was trying to set a foundation. Because then as a single mom, she would then have to decide, should I leave my job and what's going to happen to my 2 girls? No, the ingredient, especially for single moms, and I'm not a mom, I can just speak out of my experience growing up in a single parent family and what I've learned as a woman. The missing ingredient when we are prioritizing, because remember, as we said, priority is not static. It is not stationary. It evolves and it moves and it transforms based on the needs and the situations in our life. This is a secret ingredient that many of us as women are getting wrong. Here it is. We do not communicate. Because we're trying to hold everything together. We're trying to hold everything together. All right. And I'm going to share something with you right now that happened to me over the weekend. I have friends. And I have 2 very close friends, right? And I love them dearly. They live in countries with J. One lives in Jamaica, one lives in Japan, all right? And my friend in Japan, she called me. And the long and short of the story is that she ended up crying because I neglected our friendship. She started bawling, I started bawling. Because I don't want to lose my friend. No, it's not that my friend is unreasonable. But what I did not do is to communicate, to say to her, my sweetest tea, at this point in time, I'm working on some projects. I will not have the time to talk to you as often as I used to. I want you to give me some grace as I navigate these times in my life. You see how different that is? Instead of saying, you know what, working on this project is urgent and important, and my friend must understand that if I don't talk to her, then it's because I am busy. That can ruin relationships. Am I making sense? Kelly Shea says, but not all family members are understanding, especially when they have an archaic way of thinking. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Are we communicating with our family members? Going up, and mommy can tell you, I'm like, mommy didn't love me. That's what I thought. Because I'm thinking in my selfishness as a child, and we also thinking our selfishness as an adult. So I thought, mommy didn't love me. But what could have changed the dynamics was to sit down and to say, you know, your dad is not playing his part. I have 2 of you. I want you to have a better life than I do, and that means working. and doing extra hours so that I can send you and your sister to school. It will not always be like this. It will not always be like this. And when I have some time, we're going to do this together and we're going to do that together. You see how different that is? And this is a principle. Hi, honey. This is a principle that we can apply to all our relationships, even at work. My manager or my team lead would say, "Are you up to taking on this project?" And instead of saying, "Yes, yes, 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 yes," or "No, no, 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 I'm not doing it," and have an attitude, I can say, "You know what? I'm not open to doing this at this time because I have other responsibilities." You see what I'm saying? Let me go to the comments. Let me go to the comments. Mommy says, "Oh, yes, single mothers, I think, burn out more." Oh, yes, because you're doing a job that two people are supposed to be doing. And when two people doing it, it can be so difficult for sure. Salome says that is right there. I don't know which part you said that's right, but hopefully everything I've been saying makes sense, right, Salome? Latoya, my namesake. Hi, Lati. Latoya says, "I struggle to balance work, family, church, community, taking care of myself." I know that you do so much, Latoya. So I'm going to talk to you in love and care. You need to take a break. You need to take a break, Latoya. I'm calling you out because I love you. You see, Latoya, she's a member of the WHT family. She does not know how to say no. She is so kind. She will take off her clothes and strip herself naked and give somebody and freezing cold. Learning to set boundaries, that we have to work on that. And I know that you're big on church, and that's why I said earlier, if you join late, Tuesday is church work for me. Tuesday. Tuesday is church work. I do everything I need to do for church on a Tuesday. Because other days are for other things, because I create a system. So if I'm doing community work, like for you, Latte, I know you do a lot of community work is Sunday between 9 and 12, and it's 9 and 12. And you're not being selfish. As Marcy and other persons say, if you do not take care of yourself, who is going to take care of yourself for you? Nobody can take care of you for you. Right? Perfection and new beginnings on IG. It says, "Hi girl, welcome." She says, "Yes, you are. When I become burnt out, that's it. I shut down and I take the breather that I need. Often I am pushed to that point. That is it, my darling. Perfection and new beginnings. That is it. We don't want to be pushed to the point. So if you didn't catch the live we did 2 weeks ago when we spoke about indications of burnout, how does our body send us signals that we're reaching to that point, I want you to go ahead and watch that live. All right. Kelly Shea says, "That is it. We need to communicate. But in my situation, everyone expects me to be Wonder Woman and homemaker while balancing a 10-hour job." My question to you, my darling Kelly Shea Mackenzie, is that what do you expect of yourself? Everybody has expectation. You know what? Sometimes you'll have to disappoint some people. Hello? Hello, somebody? Sometimes you have to disappoint some people, and that is why boundary setting is important. They'll get over it. If they love you and they understand that you have a heart that's pure towards them, they will get over it. If they're holding a grudge, it may mean that that person should not be in your circle. That person should not be in your inner circle because they're not prioritizing you. They just want you to execute the task and responsibilities that will make you functional in their lives, where you are of no benefit and function to yourself. Listen, man, I'm preaching up in here. I'm preaching up in here. Samantha, let me get some other comments coming in. Samantha says, "It's hard to balance things spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, school, to raise the children, especially in a world like this where you want to keep them safe. Sometimes it's so hard." I hear you. I hear you. It's a lot. It's a lot. You see how the list long? You see how Samantha's list long? It is a lot. It is hard. And that is why it's so important for us to talk about these things. And that is why, even though I was tired, I said, I'm going to come on the live. I'm going to rest a little, come on the live and show up for you and show up for me. Because what is it that I always say? We heal so much better when we heal together. You know how freeing it is, Samantha, for you to be able to just type this in the chat, and for another sister who is a part of WHT to say, Sam, I understand. Sam, I know what it's like to be a single mom. Sam, I know, like, yes. Ultimate Kelly Shea says, come on, or ultimate drape up, Sister Francis. Is the truth. Sometimes we have to disappoint some people. We have to. And as I said, this is the test of friendship and relationship. If they love you and they mean the best and they respect you, they will get over. You know, you may shed some tears. They may get, a little bit annoyed because they want you to meet their expectation, but that's okay. As I told you, my friend and I, we ball Thursday night together. We ball together. She cried. I'm sorry, I hurt my friend. I started bawling. But at the end of the day, we value each other. But all we needed was to communicate. All right. Samantha said, yeah, and not Samantha, Marcia said, yes, sister, preach. Preaching up in here. Marcia said, hashtag take a break. Hashtag take a break. I love it. Sam says, I will be working on it. Girl, trust me, we want you to be around for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. Because the truth is, you're doing all of those things. If anything should happen to you, there are 10 more people who will take your place. 10 more people. Maybe 100 more. Maybe 1,000 more. People will take your place in a jiffy. Jiffy. Done. Gone. Oh, community service. Oh, yes. Lati is sick. She can't manage. Oh, let's ask so and so. Latoya says, I will try harder to timetable things and say no sometimes. Yes, my darling. Yes. Yes. Listen, when there's this lady at church that I love so much. We work very closely together. If she's supposed to send information for church, she is supposed to send information for church on Tuesday. You see, if she send it on Wednesday, she apologizes. That shows that she respects my boundaries. Because you may have all the time in the world, but I don't. I don't have all the time in the world. And my timetable is not your timetable. And you have to respect my timetable, because the demands on my life are totally different from the demands on your life. And in your eyes, it may seem as if I have nothing doing, but my reality is different from your reality. We need to learn to set boundaries as women. Samantha says, no, so sometimes I feel sorry for my body. You see, look here, let me go to Jamaica. You see what me chat about? This is what I'm talking about. I'm always feeling burnt. Oh, our bodies are tired. And here is the thing. Our bodies are like cars. If we don't change the oil, if we don't change the disc pad, if we don't change the, let me get a napkin here. If we don't change the brake pad, one moment, the body will run for a while. It will run for a while. But you see, when that car become jalopy, as we'd say in Jamaica, and it stops, you would have spent or will spend a lot more money to fix that car when it's totally broken down and damaged if you had just taken the time to change the disc pad. And unfortunately, our bodies are not like cars where you can just go to a shop and buy a body part. You can't just go to the shop and buy a heart or buy a kidney or buy a liver or buy a lung. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And it's so sad that we reach to the point of burnout, and that's the time you're like, Doc, what am I supposed to do? And they fill us up with all this prescription and pharmaceutical drugs, and we have to do better. Salome said, listen, 2022, my mental health is first. I need my peace. And what I want you to do, Salome, is to actually do a list. What are the things that bring you peace? Because it's all good and well to say, I need my peace. But what are the things, practical things that you do? If we're not able to identify that, then peace is going to be like punching in mid-ear. Peace, I want to find peace. I want to find peace. But what does it look like? What does it look like? Does it look like Marcia taking a breather in nature? Does it look like lying in bed with your children and laughing and chatting, having a good time? What does peace look like for you? Samantha, I want you to do the same thing. All right, same thing. Marcia said, true that, call time out. Time out. When we were growing up, there's this, I don't know, I was born in the 80s, 1989, and I grew up on this advertisement, Kit Kat. You want a piece of that Kit Kat, man? Give me a break. Give me, you know what? I can't sing, right? But yeah, give me a break. Gotta get a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Take a break. Take a break. All right, mommy said, they are users because you're so burnout and some persons don't care. And I think that is in reference to setting up your boundaries, telling people no, and they vex with you because of it. Has that ever happened to you? Somebody asks you to do something that you say you can't do it and they vex with you? Taking some tea, because I know it's not just me. They ask you 100 times and you do it 99 times. And one time you can't do it, they're upset. All of a sudden, they pass you, they're not saying good morning. When they see you, it's like the jaw enlarged, the neck just turned one side, they can't look behind them. Don't feel guilty. That's an indicator that that's a fake friend, fake associate, or even fake family member. That is a big red flag. If I can do something for you 99 times and one time I say no, you're upset with me, something is wrong. That person is not a loss. My husband was preaching on Sabbath and he said, there's some friends, and look here, man, me giving you too much in this life, you know. Me giving you too much. I'm giving you too much. You have to come back. You have to come back. You have to come back. You have to. Listen, Samantha says, yes, right now, I should be on Zoom listening to my pastor's preaching. No disrespect. At least I can type how I feel and hear what other ladies are saying. So I know I'm not alone. Remember, we talk about prioritizing. Prioritizing, very important. And that's one of the things I appreciate my husband so much as a pastor. He understands that the human being has many dimensions: spirituality, social, emotional, physical. Right now, your emotional bank is low. Sam, your emotional bank is low. And your priority right now is to be a part of your WHT family where we can heal together. That doesn't mean that you're not a good Christian. It doesn't mean that God's seen you because you don't go listen to pastor preaching. It means that God has provided an avenue to fill your emotional tank because he sees that that is what you need now. Me don't talk. Corinne says, listen, preach, sister, mental health matters. And you don't want to become suicidal as I was or plunge into depression or anxiety. That is why one of the 4 E's of Women Healing Together is to equip ourselves with knowledge. Let me put it up. Let me put it up on the screen. Here it is. Here it is for those on YouTube. Look at number 3. Equip self with knowledge to make better choices. And number 4, let me take down the comments here. Corinne's comment. Number 4 is to empower other women and girls. Hello, somebody. Hello. This is what I'm talking about right here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So I see the interaction in the comments and I'm loving it so much. Corinne says, yes, but I no longer care. Self-preservation. And self-preservation is not selfishness. Where we get this thing from? For those of us on the call who are Christians, would we say that Jesus was selfish? Because I read countless times in my Bible when the disciples come and say, yo, brethren, somebody needs healing. And Jesus, not coming. Sip some tea. Don't get too burned up with that. Many times I've seen it in the Gospels where the disciples come and they say, hey, brother Jesus, somebody needs healing. Somebody needs the Messiah. And Jesus says, no, I'm not coming. I have to go and spend time in nature and talk to my Father. If Jesus, and this is not a preaching, right? This is really, but you know what I'm saying? For those of us as Christians, we can relate. If Jesus, being God, but also being man, can say, my humanness needs to be replenished, so much so that I'm going to take a break. And that did not make him less of a Jesus or Jesus. It didn't. I love that. Hashtag empower women. We need to start putting that hashtag out. Listen, Marcia says, yes, I don't care. Good riddance, one less stress. I want us to reach to the point where as women, we do not fall to the misconception that if we're taking care of ourselves, that we're selfish. If we're taking care of ourselves, it means that we don't love the people around us. Because it's not true. It's not true. Just as how God has given us a mandate to be good stewards to our time and our money and the people around us, he also gives us the mandate to take care of our body temple. We don't talk. Salome says all the time, this is it, my dear. Latoya says, we are in this together. What is the motto of Women Healing Together? We heal so much better when we heal together. That's it. I'm going to recap the 8 tips, and let me know which one resonates with you as we close off for this evening. I plan to spend half an hour with you, but I couldn't leave you because I realized that you're with me and you're commenting and you're spilling and you're sharing, and I didn't want to just abruptly end, right? Because when we have synergy, we have to keep that synergy and encourage each other. Tip number 1, we're talking about tips to avoid burnout. Tip number 1, listen to your body. What are the physical symptoms? Tension, pins and needle, headache, lethargy, always tired, irritability. Listen to your body. Tip number 2, set boundaries. And anybody who does not respect your boundaries, it means they do not respect you. Tip number 3, give yourself grace, aka practice self-compassion. There are days when you will not show up, and it is okay to forgive yourself and say, I'm not in a frame of mind to show up. I need time. Number 4, schedule time for yourself. Again, if you have not watched the video where I spoke about no money needed self-care tips, go and check that out. Schedule time for self. Number 5, plan and create a system that will help you to set boundaries. That's a practical way actually to set boundaries. Because if you know that you're doing this at this time, if somebody comes and they want you to do something else, you could say to them, I'm not available at this time, but I'm available at X time, or I'm not available at all. Number 6, prioritize health over dash. Whatever dash means. Prioritize your health over dash, whether physical, emotional health, social health, spiritual health. Prioritize health over dash. Number 7, learn to take a pause. I mean, in the midst of the stress, learn to step away. That may mean breathing. That may mean turning on music to just recenter and ground yourself in the spirit of Christ and in his presence. It may mean just taking time out to say, God, help me, I'm not functioning today. Take a pause. And number 8, there is no such thing as balance. Balance, no such thing. What we want to do instead is to prioritize, and priority is not static, it is not stationary, it will evolve, it will adjust over time. And when we are prioritizing one thing over another or one person over another, please do not forget to communicate. Which one of these 8 tips to avoid burnout is speaking to your soul? Which one are you going to try? I want you to choose at least 2. All right. Salome says, on the premise of self motivation, she says, some persons are self motivated to the point where they drive others who are working along with them to frustration in achieving their own agenda. Whoa! And this is right up the alley to what Kelly Shea on IG was saying. She knows that she needs to take some rest, but there are other persons who have expectation, boundaries. Boundaries. This is it right here. Love it, Salome. Love it. This is it right here. You have an agenda, and I can support your agenda, but I'm not able to show up right now. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't need to go in on the pissy either. If I want to take a sick day from work, I don't need to explain why I'm taking a sick day. My work has a thing that they call mental health day or wellness day for winter, because it is proven that during the winter months, persons are more prone to depression because there's not much, not that there's any, but there is not much sunlight as we get in the summer. So we have a mental health day. You just call and say, I'm taking a mental health day. And there's no explanation needed. Samantha says, whoa, when I share the 8 tips. Mom says, all the right tips, they're very important to us all. Mommy says she's taking all 8 of them. Samantha said, number 4 is for me, scheduling time for self. Corinne said, listen to my body and take time for self. That's number 4. And number 1, home knickknacks. You know that I have a book that I wrote called Knickknacks for Living? And your channel is home knickknacks, girl. Experiencing number 1 right now, listening to your body. Sam says, yes, the word of God says it says, confess our faults one to another, then pray for each other, and we will be healed. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Listen, I want you to prioritize. So we're going to end the live now so you can go and eat some ice cream. But if you're on the Daniel fast with my husband and I, then no ice cream for you. No ice cream for you, okay? All right? Salome says, I took 2 days last week. Last year, I was sick from stress, burnout. I could hardly work, and they didn't even care. So I'm preserving myself. You notice when we get sick days at work, they're confined to a particular period and space. You can't take sick leave ad infinitum. No, it's 2 weeks or 7 days. Yeah, after a while, they start calling, do you want to resign? Do you want to come back? Yeah, that's it. So I'm happy you learn. And I'm happy I'm learning. Mommy says, great program. Thank you, Mommy. Love you so much. Marcy says, look here. Marcy is like, I have enough. I have a lot. I have plenty of the tips that I want to practice. Number 1, listen to your body. Number 2, set boundaries. Number 3, give yourself grace. Number 4, schedule time for yourself. And number 5, plan and create a system. Look here. My WHT ladies, I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much. I want to thank you for being vulnerable and for coming on the live and for chatting with me today, for sharing the link, and for just being honest. I think sometimes we don't want to be honest, and we want the happy-go-lucky type of content where we can laugh, and nothing is wrong with laughing and have a good time, but we have to have hard conversations and authentic conversations as well. All right. Good gems. Corinne, blessings to you, my darling. Salome says, great program. I appreciate it. I also share this program. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. Yes, share. Go ahead and share. Please go ahead and share with someone. Thank you, Salome, for actually sharing. Give the video a thumbs up. All right. So even though you're watching it, go ahead, just give it a thumbs up, share with someone. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I want to wish you all the best for this week. And I'll see you on Sunday. All right. Sunday, I'll see you on Sunday. All right. What do I always say? We heal so much better. We heal so much better when we heal together. Thank you, Popsann, for allowing God to use you. Enough appreciation and blessing. Same to you, Marcia. Look here, una not done. Make me una fit done. Make me done talk. Latoya says, I appreciate you, Popsann. I can't even pronounce my own name, Popsann. I appreciate you, Popsann. Thanks again. And Salome says, peace, amen, together. I'm going to close up now, all right? Bye, my lovelies. Bye.